Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe.
We do have our next caller is Dennis from New York. He's been vaccinated and is burnt out, looking for advice on handling anti-vaxxers, being immunocompromised, and he wants to talk about how the importance of how religion stops intelligent people from realizing we are the ones who can stop COVID. So, hello there, Dennis. How you doing?
Hey, John. Hey, Viced. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
Have me on the show. I'm hanging in there. Hanging in. A little depressed today. I had both vaccinations from Pfizer, and I'm told that I have about a 16% chance of it working for me. So that's a little tough to swallow, where there are people out there that don't even believe in vaccinations. And I need people around me to understand that it's not only for them, it's for people like me. I'm a rare case, but still, it's tough. It's tough to deal with, and to see people just saying that they're not going to get it because they feel like it's not going to affect them, or it's no less than the flu, or whatever the case may be. It's trying on me because of all the problems I have. I've been very careful. I went over a year without catching it. I didn't catch COVID. My whole family did because of stupidity. And it's just hard for me. It was a downer. It's like I almost feel like what's the point in me doing what I'm doing? Well, others aren't going to play their part in this world.
Yeah,
did you have like a question?
It was more of a statement as far as like, I've read that like 42% of evangelical Christians don't even want to take the vaccination. I think religion does have a factor in, what we do, or what they do, as far as, protecting us as humans, people that are on this planet.
Yeah,
it is
definitely frustrating. Sorry, go ahead.
Especially at the start of this pandemic, we had several religious leaders who were talking about how the blood of Jesus was going to protect their congregants, and how, the God has blessed their particular congregation, and they ended up coming away, getting COVID. The leaders that I'm talking about would get COVID and even pass away on occasion, and they would still wholeheartedly believe that they were protected by the blood of Jesus. And so I feel like those types of people would be a bit irrational, and I don't think that anything that you can really say to them or point out to them, or any kind of information you can bring to them, is really going to sway them away, from that position, because they're pretty hard up on believing that, they can't get COVID because of God. And it's really sad to see.
Yeah. And that's the problem I have, because like I said, I've done everything that I could to protect myself. But what I'm afraid of is, if it continues, there will be more variants, harder to control, people being more laxed about it, people thinking it's over. And, and I'm not trying to be selfish about it, because, we all don't know, who could be affected by it. You may catch COVID and think you're fine, and then you can recatch it again, or catch a different variant. So none of us are really, safe from this virus. And I always say that the only people that can stop it are ourselves. It's nothing that else. It's a man, and now it's transmitted through us. No other way. So I don't understand how people don't understand how to chip in, when it comes to something like this. It just boggles me that, religious or not, I don't understand it. I don't understand the political side of it, or how they politicize it.
Incredibly frustrating. I know for me, it feels like I am punishing my kids for other people's bad behavior. It's heartbreaking seeing like my kids can't go play with their friends, but they hear about their friends having birthday parties and stuff like that. And it's like I think one of my sons actually lost one of his friends because he was invited to a birthday party, and we said no, we can get her a present, but we're not going to a party. And like it hurts. There's no way around it. I just wish everybody could band together and actually get this thing taken care of. But hey, if it makes you feel better, you're more protected than me at the moment because I'm in like the last group in Canada that's eligible for the vaccines, and since we can't make it here in Canada, we got to wait for other people to send it to us. So there's not enough for everybody right now.
Yeah, well, it's right, exactly. Like I said, I didn't want to sound selfish about it. I'm just trying to tell my story. I mean, my story is a little longer than what I said. I mean, I suffer from other
I'm not trying to make you feel bad for being selfish.
I just, when I hear other people, calling in and they're talking about God, and God is the one that's going to save everything, and He's creator of everything. Is where? Show me where. I have gotten to the point that I was raised a Roman Catholic. I was baptized at the age of 21 as a born-again Christian. I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. God has never done anything for me. It's always been man has done something. And we do live in a better world now. You see, I got a cancer that I'd probably be dead by this point because I could take a pill now opposed to being, chemotherapy over and over and over and over again. But then other things, like a virus, okay, that's a natural thing, and that's something that I think we're supposed to deal with as humans and understand that that's something all of us have to chip in to stop it. It's like it's like if a hurricane or a tornado was coming, if we could do whatever we could to stop or do the best from having our house wiped out or whatever, we either leave our home or we board it up with plywood. But when it comes to a virus, it seems like no, I'm sorry. It's like God didn't God make that hurricane too? And did He make that tsunami or whatever it might be? And I know there are people that do stay behind and go, hey, well, God's going to protect me. But the majority of people board up their homes and stores and, head for the hills when they know something like that's coming. But when you talk about a virus, it seems like it's either one way or the other. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah. And, I love the news stories where you have this bigoted religious leader. I can't remember who it was, but he was very passionate about being anti-LGBTQ. And I believe when some flood happened, it might have been Katrina or something like that, happened, he said that it was because of the gays that God flooded or destroyed this area. And then later on, like a few years down the line, a flood destroyed his home. And so like everybody was questioning, like, was that guy gay? Because he said that God does it because of gay people. He was destroying all the gay people, but his home got destroyed. So it kind of creates a conundrum. But you can find several instances of that happening. And I know me, I always love to ask that question of people. It's like, well, if God did this, why did He do it? Why did He choose an area that's pretty well populated by conservatives in order to exact His vengeance for something that happened in Florida? If it wasn't Florida, they got hit. It brings a whole bunch of questions to mind.
Do it.
Well, right.
Well, this is why every now and then I get the question like, oh, why do you make videos against religion? Why are you so against Christianity? Why do you do what you do? Why do you fight the pseudoscience so much? It's like, this is why, because when you just let bad beliefs go unchallenged, it snowballs and people believe more bad things, and then we end up with a society where half the people don't think that wearing a mask over your mouth that's spitting out your spit droplets all the time can possibly prevent you from spreading a disease that spreads by spit droplets being spit out all the time. Like, it's just like stuff that should just be like so easy to understand. People are so resistant to it because they just have these bad ideas, and that's why, like, this is why the work that we do, like both John and I consider it very important work, because it's like ultimately, I don't care if you believe in a god. I just don't want you to be pseudoscientific about stuff. Like, and typically, God beliefs are kind of pseudoscientific. There's really no way around that.
Right. I agree 100%. You're not going to get an argument from me. But I wish there was something. Yeah, obviously, there's no magic wand that you can wave, but I've seen it all too much because I belong to a church where I lost all but maybe one or two Christian friends and stuff like that. They still hang around, and I guess they were true friends regardless of what I believe. But it was very hard to let them know that I no longer believed in a God, because it's like it's almost like you're cursed or something, like you're diseased with something. It's like they don't, for being so loving and caring, it's like they only seem to be loving and caring when you believe in their group. And once you kind of say, well, I'm leaving the group now, but remember the good times we had? No, we don't. It all gets chucked out the window. So it's a very lonely life for me. I got to have my wife. I have my dog, but it's tough to go out. I only go to doctors for the most part, and I've been vaccinated, but I'm still frightened that I don't have that much of a fighting chance if somebody's going to, like you said, not wear a mask and spew their virus on me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sound like a downer.
No.
I think we're all kind of feeling this way at this.
Just want to state facts. I don't know. Because there are now people in the chat room that are actually, probably anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers, and maybe they could listen. Wear a mask to protect me and the others around you. That's my message to them. It's not only about you.
Yeah, and there's this weird thing of people thinking that masks aren't effective, right? Because I see this a lot of times, either on Twitter or elsewhere, but they think that masks aren't effective. And that really boggles my mind when I think about it, because, nobody wants a surgeon operating without a mask. Nobody wants a doctor doing any kind of important work that could potentially spread a disease, either between patients or between the doctor and the patient. They would definitely want the doctor to be wearing a mask. And so it really confuses me when I hear people say that masks don't work, because I sincerely doubt that they would request their surgeon
wearing them for over a century now.
Right. Right. The reason why they wear masks is because they had the data that showed that masks prevent the spread of disease. And so it really boggles my mind, because, nobody would sign a waiver saying, I don't want my surgical staff to be wearing a mask. If they want to sneeze in my butthole, definitely do that.
Right. And I also, a lot of times, if I'm speaking with somebody, I'll say, do you have children? And if the answer is yes, I said, when your child coughs, what do you teach him to do? And now we preferably on the elbow instead of the hands, because we can pass it by touching with our hands and stuff like that. And they usually have no answer to that, because it's kind of like, if you're teaching your children at the age of 3 or 4 to cover their mouth, and preferably now at the elbow, that's because you're trying to prevent germs from spreading, correct?
Yeah, nobody wants someone
we have a
coughing all over you.
virus that has killed so many people and yet you can't wear a mask because you think your freedom's be taken away from you. Nobody took your freedom away from you. We're trying to save lives. It's not about freedom.
I think just one last point, and then we should probably call it a night there. But one last point is that I don't know what the situation is in the States, but I know in Canada, we have still not declared the beginning of the 2020 flu season because all the precautions that we've been taking against COVID have been so good at preventing infectious diseases that we've only get a handful of flu cases at the moment. And this just really speaks to just how infectious COVID is, and that's why these measures are so important. But just with what we have done kind of half-assedly, we killed the flu season.
Of course, that stuff's going to start right back up once everybody feels comfortable enough not to wear a mask all the time and do the social distancing and all that. I mean, they're obviously going to go back to sneezing in each other's faces. So we can look forward to that. But we really appreciate your call there, Dennis. I hope that you'll call in again sometime in the future. And we hope that you have a lovely week.
Absolutely. I appreciate that you took my call, John and Viced. It was a very enlightening call.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Hello, sinners. It's me, and you're watching The Line. Hit that subscribe button and consider ringing that bell, because if you do, an angel will get its wings.